Is this working?
I think we got it.
Is that a sign for how this is going to go? What's going on? Everybody all right?
We have options. You can get in the ring. We have a table. We can walk around. What do you prefer?
I'll do it. Let's sit on the edge of the ring.
Okay.
That way it's kind of getting in, but not really.
Success. All right, so welcome to Galaxycon. How has your day been here so far?
It's been great. Yeah, I love coming to Minneapolis. Always a great time here. The weather actually reminds me a lot of home. I'm from Canada, so it's nice to feel that chilly weather.
I was going to ask if you have any like cold weather survival tips for like someone like me who's a Floridian.
Yeah, well, I live in Florida as well. I don't know. I guess don't eat yellow snow would be a good one.
Oh, too late.
Yeah.
No, that's gross. Okay. So, my first question for you.
Yeah.
My husband and I actually got married by a fellow wrestler named Mick Foley back in January.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a good dude. And I messaged him, and I was like, oh, I'm doing this panel for Christian. What should I ask him?
Oh, these are actually questions for Mick Foley.
I have one for Mick Foley.
Okay.
He wanted me to ask you about the time that you tried to qualify as a light heavyweight by wearing a chicken suit.
Yeah. That happened. So it was back in the days of Sunday Night Heat, and there wasn't a lot of attention at the time paid to Sunday Night Heat, so we could kind of just do whatever we wanted and get away with it. So there was this writer named Brian Gourds, and he thought it'd be funny, like, hey, let's just goof around and have some fun. We need a match for the show, and I think Dean Malenko at the time was the light heavyweight champion, and I had to drop like 5 pounds or something to make the weight limit. And I don't even know how there was like a chicken soup backstage or something, so we're like, let's do all like these. Mick Foley was our foil, right? Like we had a love-hate relationship with him when he was the commissioner, and so he made me weigh in, and then he forced me to lose the 5 pounds if I wanted the title shot, and they gave me a chicken suit to kind of sweat the weight off, and I was, of course, like, I'm not going to wear this chicken suit. And he's like, Kurt Angle wore that chicken suit to make weight for the Olympics. And then, of course, Kurt was our guy, right? Team X. So I was like, all right, give me the chicken suit. So I put it on. We did all these like workouts and stuff. Like they cut to us doing these vignettes and stuff. And right before I headed out to the ring, we walk in the hall and we see Kurt. He's like, hey, what are you doing in my chicken suit? Which is completely ridiculous, but that's the chicken suit stuff.
I love it. Okay, so another thing I wanted to ask you about, so here at the convention we partake in something called FSCW, and a lot of the wrestlers are students of Gangrel. And I have to say, the Brood is one of my favorite factions of all. Are we fans of the Brood? I wanted to ask about the feeling that you got being able to do that incredible entrance for the Brood.
Yeah, I still think that entrance was top 5 best entrances of all time, in my opinion. The music just fit the characters. Obviously, the entrance coming up through the stage. You never knew how high that flame was going to be, and at any moment our hair could catch on fire, and we'd have to stop, drop, and roll on the live on Raw. But yeah, it was very cool. And I remember when I first got there, I got a copy of it when I was first going on the road to get myself kind of in the right headspace to get out there and perform. I put the music on while I was packing my bags. I love the music. Yeah, it was great. Like when you be walking, you walking, we're all kind of smiling, kind of bobbing, because what's that kind of music that you just feel the music, and that's what you want for a ring entrance. Something that kind of just gets you where you need to be to go out there and perform.
So you mentioned you think it's one of the top 5. I mean, it's personally my favorite, but who else do you think has a show-stopping entrance?
I think Undertaker always had a great entrance, right? Rey Mysterio used to come up through the thing, off the top of my head. Wyatt family had a great entrance, right? That was pretty cool. So, yeah, those are some off the top of my head.
And kind of throwing things to what's currently going on in the WWE. Obviously, you and Edge and the Hardys and the Dudley Boys were the tag team division, and you guys set the standard so high. So who would you say in the current roster, or maybe on NXT, who do you think as a tag team would be able to hang with you guys?
I mean, they're all super talented. You know, look at the landscape now. You know, obviously look at guys like the Revival. The Usos, Edge and Christian would have a killer match, I think. You know, even like Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler would be great to go against, and you know, O'Reilly and Fish, they'd be great to get in there with. You know, I think even like New Day and Edge and Christian, like just the promos and the skits would be ridiculous, you know?
Okay, so if it's all right with you, I don't know where, oh, there's Steve. So my buddy Steve is going to go into the audience and take questions from the audience. So if you guys have a question.
This is your buddy?
Yeah, this is my buddy Steve.
You need a new buddy.
Why? What's wrong?
I'm just kidding, Steve.
Oh,
I like you.
Steve is one of the
Not
hardest
much, but I like you.
That's something, right? A little. All right, so if you guys have a question, you can wave your hand in the air and Steve will come right to you. Talk about service.
Hey, so I'm sure you've been asked this a bunch of times, but I guess I've been wondering, the TLC matches, did you know that you were making as big of an impact, like, as it was happening, in terms of, like, ladder matches, or did you know, or did it take a while for that to get?
Well, I think you even go back further to the first tag ladder match with the Hardys, right? And we were all trying to find our way, and we kind of pitched this concept of it was a best of 7 series with us and the Hardy Boys that culminated in this tag ladder match. We pitched the whole thing. It was the first kind of story that we ever pitched, and they went with it. So we were like, we better deliver here, or we're never going to listen to us again, you know? So we felt the pressure, but it was also, we were, you know, you look at the landscape at the time of guys that were at the top of the card. You know, Steve Austin in his prime, The Rock in his prime, Undertaker, Mick Foley, Triple H, you know, like, you weren't getting anywhere near the top of the card as a singles guy, so we knew that we could kind of bring the tag division back, is what our goal was. And in the process of doing that, making ourselves household names and into superstars. So that first match, we went out there with a chip on our shoulder and with the sole intention of stealing the show. And I think we did that. And obviously we did, or those other opportunities wouldn't have happened. Like, they wouldn't have turned into the triple or the triangle ladder match at WrestleMania when we added the Dudleys in, which turned into the TLC. And yeah, you know, when they were happening, you know, it's hard to gauge when you're doing it. Like, you can hear the crowd reactions and things like that, and you hope that you're doing something that's entertaining. But the goal, yeah, was to put on a match that stands the test of time. And I think that they've done that, because I, you know, have little kids coming up to me at events like this one and saying they love the ladder matches, they love the TLC matches, and I know they weren't even born yet when they happened, which means their parents are going out of their way to show them these matches on WWE Network or whatever it is. So to me, that's pretty special, and the fact that there's actually a pay-per-view named after the match that we helped make famous, the TLC, and then even one further, Money in the Bank, which is also a spawn off of the TLC. So it's, I think it's definitely ingrained in the history books and the annals of the sport for sure, and something to be proud of for all of us.
Over the years, I've had some incredible themes from, like, I'll Ask You on Your Own, to Close Your Eyes, to My Immortal and TNA, to the Brood that you're talking about earlier. Is there one that sticks out as your favorite that you've gotten to come out to over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall the Brood music was, like, my favorite, but the one that I absolutely hated at first was the Christian. Like, I had pitched something completely different, like, for my music, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll figure something out. And then when I came, like, oh, we got your music, we're gonna get your new entrance, you're gonna rehearse it and practice it. So I'm standing back, like, God, I can't wait to hear this music, and I hear that, and I just went like, what the F is this? And I walk out, and I could see, like, you know, all my peers are out there on their radio stuff, and they're like, looking around this music, and now I'm like almost, and oh my God, I hate this music so much. And but then I realized, like, oh, I'm a heel. People are supposed to hate me. Why wouldn't they hate my music too? So then after that I embraced it and actually came to like it. And to this day, you'd be surprised I'll be walking in a mall somewhere, minding my own business with a hat taken over my face, just trying to grab some socks or something. And at a distance I'll hear, Christian! Again. So how many years later people still remember it? So it did its job.
Well, really quick, Steve, so since before we got like a little of your singing demo, I was just wondering, like, if you were to karaoke, what song would be your go-to karaoke song?
Probably The Shape of My Heart by the Backstreet Boys. Now let me show you. Are you singing it?
Absolutely.
You don't know it. You don't even know it.
You're
not cool enough to know the Backstreet Boys. Come on.
Sorry, I'm more of an in-syncer. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, next question.
Thanks for coming out, Christian, by the way.
What's that?
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Two quick questions. One is more professional, at least in terms of which you feel is more of an impactful win of winning either the big gold belt or the 10 pounds of gold. Or, and the second question is more personal, is like, so as a Canadian, I assume that you're a fan of McKenzie brothers, Bob and Doug McKenzie. So which do you more identify with, Bob or Doug?
Ooh, man, it's a tough one. I can't remember which one was which now. They're kind of interchangeable, aren't they? Yeah, I think I'd be more Rick Moranis. I don't know. Yeah, Bob, Doug McKenzie. Yeah. The other question. Oh, yeah. I mean, they both, held were pretty special wins. You look at the history of the NWA Championship, and Harley Race, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, obviously, some huge names. I know that when I had it, it didn't have the same kind of luster as when those guys did, but it was a pretty big moment for me in my career, trying to kind of break through and be recognized as a main event level talent and stay at in that spot. So it was kind of the first moment for me where I was recognized as that, and so that was huge in its own way. And obviously, winning the World Heavyweight Championship was pretty special as well. Biggest moment of my career in WWE for sure. And Edge being ringside for it as well. I think he was more emotional about me winning than I was at that point. He really wanted it for me as well. So it was cool that he was there ringside and watched it happen. And yeah, they're both huge in different ways. It's hard to when I grew up wanting to wrestle for WWE, so winning that world title was the biggest moment for me.
Hi there. So obviously it didn't happen instantly, but I know that there was pretty big juxtaposition between your Brood persona and then the Reeks of Awesomeness era. So initially, were you all for that character change, or did you have some hesitation about that?
Did I be patient? Is that what you said? Oh, hesitation? No. The Brood character for me, as cool as it wasn't really me. I wasn't a gothic. It was a good way for me to come in because I didn't have to talk. And at that point in time, I didn't have a ton of experience cutting promos or doing interviews or any of those things. So I was pretty nervous. I didn't know how good I would be at it. And we slowly got to talk a little bit in the Brood. But honestly, I don't know if I would have been able to connect with that character if I was cutting promos, because like I said, there wasn't anything of me in that. And when you see the Christian that it morphed into, I'm a little bit more of a smartass, a little bit more sarcastic and dry humor and things like that. So it was easier for me to identify with that character and to turn the volume up and take evolve the character and move it up from there. And obviously when Edge and I were teaming and we were starting to do the bits, help me come out of my shell and give me confidence and all those sorts of things that you need to cut effective, good promos, because I was basically just talking to my friend. I would not look at the crowd. I'd look at him and maybe glance at the crowd until I got that comfort of, talking in front of thousands of people and millions at home. It's, yeah.
Out of curiosity, was there anything maybe that you ever wanted to do with your persona that you weren't allowed to do?
I wanted to do the river dance. I really wanted to be the Lord of the Dance. No. I mean, I did, but I didn't pitch that. Yeah.
I was about to ask for a demonstration.
What was the question?
If it was, maybe if they ever said no to something that you pitched as far as your character persona?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was. I mean, I was always like pitching ideas and storylines and things like that, and like just because you're pitching to do something with, you know, could be anybody, and it might sound good in your head and be like, oh, this makes total sense, but they might have plans for something else with that person that that you don't know of. So I would say there were times when, like when we pitched the first ladder match thing, there was a lot of times where when I pitched something it would actually happen, and there was times where things got shot down as well. It worked both ways.
All right, next question.
I love the Los Conquistadors idea, and on that line, what is the craziest thing you ever pitched that God said no to?
Man, I don't even know. The craziest thing? I don't know if I ever pitched anything really crazy. I always try to pitch things that made sense. And, I felt like I was a very unselfish performer. And when anything that I ever pitched was not necessarily for me, it was for whatever like program I was pitching it would be to benefit all the parties involved and benefit the show. So it's not like I was ever just going in there and like kick the door and be like, I should be in the main event of WrestleMania. Like realistically, that's not something you go in and do. You have to have a, so like I said, I felt like I was very unselfish when I pitched things. I don't remember going in and pitching anything super outrageous or anything. So nothing stands out. But like I just said, there's times where I went and pitched things, like, yeah, sounds good, let's do it. Or there's times like, yeah, it's a great idea, but it won't work right now, or stuff like that. So it'll work both ways.
Hey, Christian, thanks for being here once again.
You're welcome.
My question
I'm here just for you.
My question is, we all know that Vince McMahon is one unique individual. However, I was just wondering, do you have any sort of funny or awkward encounter with Vince McMahon? I know some wrestlers do, that the fans might like to hear. I know he has some wrestlers have some funny encounters, and I was wondering if you had any awkward or things like that that might be funny Vince McMahon stories.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I mean, we had some interesting conversations before. But yeah, they're professionals, so sure nothing really stands out. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Can I put you on the spot for something? Okay, so I feel like a lot of wrestlers have a very good Vince McMahon impression. Do you have a Vince McMahon impression?
Yeah, just watch the Edge and Christian show on the WWE Network. You'll see my Vince impression on there. Am I right? What? Oh, damn it, you can't put me on the spot like that.
What is your favorite takedown?
My favorite takedown? I don't know, I've usually got taken down. I guess my favorite would be the times where I didn't get taken down. My favorite takedown? I don't know, I guess my finishing move. Kill switch. That 3 or 4 times I actually got to use it.
When you came back to WWE, there's a lot of speculation on how you come back. How did it come about that you come back on the ECW?
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation how I was going to come back. I know there was a few different ideas floated around, and then kind of out of the blue, I guess it was like a last minute thing. When Matt Hardy did the thing with Jeff, they took him off ECW, and they wanted like a babyface, like a top babyface to be on the show to kind of take his spot, as he was kind of the top babyface on the show at the time. At that time, I'd been off for a couple months, and I just wanted to get back. So They pitched to me, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I was really excited about it. And the way I saw it was, most importantly, I knew I was going to get time on that show to have matches. And when you wrestle on TV, that's the goal, is to get time. Time is very hard to get. So I knew I was going to get it, and I was going to be able to have good matches, kind of reestablish myself. And there was a good crop of young talent there on that show that I felt like I could have good matches, like Swagger. Even Zack Ryder, I had good matches with Zack Ryder. Regal was there. Regal and I had some killer matches. So I had a lot of fun on ECW, and I thought it was a good way to come back.
I don't know if you've got any of NWA Power yet, but if you have anyone on there that you'd like to do a program with?
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen little clips of it, but it looks pretty cool. I really do like the old school feel of it. I haven't had to check it out and watch it, but I've been so busy in the last month I haven't had a chance to check much of anything, honestly.
I can stand up for this one. 2 quick questions. Favorite merchandise, like favorite wrestling t-shirt, and favorite hockey jersey?
I like the shirt you're wearing now. It's a good one. Yeah,
He's cool. Modeling it. I love it.
I think my favorite, my personal, my merchandise, or just merchandise
in general. Like, what do you wish, like, overall?
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I love the Hulkamania shirt, right? Like, iconic shirt. Later on, I think, Attitude Era, my favorite shirt was the Stone Cold Blood from a Stone shirt. It was might be my favorite shirt of all time. My personal favorite was kind of the original shirt with that design. It was the gray with the black ringer and with the yellow C on it. And I was like, how do I get a shirt that's kind of cool that people would wear to a mall, or doesn't look like a wrestling shirt? You know, it's a wrestling shirt, but it's kind of, you can wear it with jeans, you can wear it out. People might ask you, hey, that's a cool shirt, what is it? So I thought that was cool. And in TNA, I had a shirt that was designed like an old wrestling card, and had wrestling. They had that you would see up on a wall in an arena, had the matches and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool also.
Your favorite hockey jersey?
My favorite hockey jersey? Come on, man, Toronto Maple Leafs.
I've already got one, so I just.
What's that? Yeah. Also, well, I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan too, so I like the Lightning's third jerseys. The all black jerseys, pretty cool. Actually, those new Oilers third jerseys, the blue and orange, are pretty sick too. I don't know how many hockey fans are there doing that. I guess I like the Minnesota Wild jersey too. Happy? Yeah. I actually do like the colors. I like the off-white. It's nice.
I had 2 questions. One, I was wondering, do you have any favorite wrestling memories from wrestling in Minnesota? And then the other question was, have you ever played any wrestling video games as your own character?
Of my character?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried. I'm not a big wrestling video game guy. But yeah, I've played a few of them, and big surprise, I lose. Memories of wrestling in Minnesota? Yeah, I mean, I wrestled at my first Elimination Chamber match here. It was a good night. I'm trying to think, did we win tag titles here? I can't remember. I think probably the Elimination Chamber one stands out the most. I always wanted to wrestle in one, and I got the first one I got to wrestle in this year. So.